The countdown is on with less than an hour before the polls close in Central Florida. Tonight on Eyewitness News at 6, a full team of reporters will bring you live to campaign headquarters across the state. We're also taking you to poll locations as last-minute voters brave the lines to ensure their voices are heard. From Washington, D.C. to right here in Orlando, Eyewitness News is your election headquarters on what will be a history-making evening. And as you can see, the clock is ticking, and we are mere minutes within the final hour as those polls close at 7 o'clock, and those first results should actually come flooding in because the votes in Florida, the early votes, are counted, and then they are under lock and key. No one knows what those results are. We all will know soon. Channel 9 has every race covered. Let's begin with highly anticipated races like the one for, of course, the White House. Good evening. I'm Greg Warman.
And I'm Martha Sagowski. Former President Donald Trump is expected to hold a campaign watch party tonight in Palm Beach County. That's where Channel 9's Shannon Butler is joining us live from. And Shannon, the former president voting in person today.
Yeah, he was, and here at the convention center, people have already showed up trying to get a glimpse of the former president, but they may be here a while. The former president, admitting today that he's not sure that this race will even be called this evening. He was railing against states that were taking too long to count these ballots, actually saying that we need to do better here. He did say, though, that he was confident that he would win this race because people care about the economy. They care about border security, but he did point to those election lines, just how long they were here today on election day. He wasn't sure really what that would mean for his campaign, but again, he said that these states need to be better. They need to count these races early, so we will have a winner tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing the same things that you're hearing. I'm hearing states where I'm up by a lot, but they won't have a final number for a long time.
Now, the former president saying he's not even sure he's going to make it here this evening to address the folks here that have shown up to see him here at the watch party. He says he's just going to kind of wait and see what happens here, that maybe he'd show up around 10 or 11 o'clock tonight, but he was still undecided. As far as running mate J.D. Vance, I did see him about an hour ago arrive here at the convention center. He is now at the hotel waiting for whenever they decide they will come out here to address these supporters. Trump said he expects 4,000 to 5,000 people. Security here, of course, tight, and the traffic in West Palm Beach right now is very tough to get through, Martha.
Yeah, Shannon, back to security. You and I were talking earlier this afternoon, and you said you were still patiently waiting to get through security with the assassination attempts on the former president. Have you seen in your years of covering this more security this time around where you are?
Well, we've covered these presidential elections before, especially since Trump is here in Florida, but it was incredibly tight today. We set up here this morning. We got here about 7 a.m. It took about 2 hours to wait in line and to get our equipment inside this building here. The security sweep then happened through the day. We weren't allowed back in here till about 3 or 4 o'clock today. After that security sweep was done, there is security in every corner of this building. Metal detectors, there are the Secret Service, there are Palm Beach police officers with all sorts of weaponry here. We saw all sorts of armored vehicles outside, so it is definitely all hands on deck here in West Palm Beach. Some of that because of what kind of event this is, but the other is because we have seen what has happened at other events here with former President Trump, and they are taking no chances here tonight.
They are certainly not. All right, Shannon, we'll be checking in with you throughout the evening. Thanks so much. Great.
Yeah, just a great perspective there, Shannon. Meantime, the Harris campaign has settled in for a long night as well at Howard University, the vice president's alma mater. 7 battleground states will be pivotal to winning the presidency. Vice President Harris made her final pitch to voters in Philadelphia last night, where she said, quote, "The momentum is on her side." Channel 9's Kirsten Garris is live with us now from Washington tonight. And Kirsten, which states are the Harris campaign really focused on the most tonight?
Well, Greg, they're really going to be closely watching those blue wall states. So we're talking about Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. These states will be key for the vice president to get to that 270 electoral college votes. But while all these states are important, one political science expert tells me this could really come down to Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania. This is really where the road to the White House leads through. And that's because this state has the most electoral votes up for grabs out of all those swing states. Now, throughout the day, Vice President Harris started her day with some radio interviews with stations in those battleground states, urging voters to get out and cast their ballot. Then this afternoon, she made a surprise visit to the DNC headquarters here in D.C. to help with some phone banking. The vice president made her final pitch to voters in Pennsylvania last night. She had rallies and events in 4 different parts of the state. Again, this place, Pennsylvania, will be critical because it has also flip-flopped in the past. Democrats lost the state by less than a percentage point in 2016, but then won it by about 1 percentage point in 2020. So that's how close the state can get. During her final rally in Philly last night, Harris vowed to be a leader for all Americans.
America is ready for a fresh start, ready for a new way forward where we see our fellow American not as an enemy, but as a neighbor. And we are ready for a president who knows that the true measure of a leader is not based on who you beat down, but based on who you lift up.
And Greg, as you mentioned, within the next couple of hours, Vice President Harris will host an election watch party at Howard University, her alma mater here in D.C. And during one of her radio interviews earlier today, she said this will really be a full circle moment. And that's because she says her first run for office was actually freshman class representative at Howard. And if she is elected president, she'd be the first HBCU graduate to become president as well. Greg?
Yeah, and Kirsten, just a lot of firsts if that does in fact happen. You mentioned Pennsylvania, as we all know, that key path there in the Keystone State. So do experts tell you if there's another path forward if Harris does not win the Keystone State?
Well, I would say North Carolina is in play as well, and that's because this state has turned more purple than anything else over the last few years. This is a state that Democrats have been trying to win back. They haven't won that state since 2008 when President Barack Obama won that state, but North Carolina could be in play. She visited that state several times during the campaign trail as well. Obviously, a lot of eyes will be watching what happens out west, Nevada, Arizona, and these are also states. It's notable that it takes longer for them to count the results because of different rules and regulations on the state level. So a lot of experts I've been talking to, election administrators, they're urging voters to be patient tonight because it could take a while to find out who becomes the next president, and that's really critical for Pennsylvania. Election officials there couldn't touch those absentee ballots until this morning, and that's a complete change from Florida. I know you all can start counting those ballots earlier in the process, so pack your patience this time around as we wait for those results to come in.
All right, yeah, it will be different because each state, thank you, Kirsten, for that. We'll check back in. You know, even in Pennsylvania, the different counties have different rules.
Yes, they do.
You know, here in the state of Florida, it's, you know, one size fits all. The only difference we have is the panhandle is not in, you know, our same time zone, so we have to wait an hour, but we're here for you.
All right, well, coming up, we're going to go over some of the closest races here in Central Florida.
And right now, let's check in with certified chief meteorologist Tom Terry. And it does not look, Tom, as though rain in this last hour is going to keep people away, but we don't like the looks of that.
Yeah, well, fortunately, this is not coming here. This is soon to become Hurricane Raphael. They have hurricane conditions expected tonight in the Cayman Islands, and then by tomorrow, central and western Cuba. And these are the spaghetti plots. Generally, pretty good agreement here. Now moving this away from Florida, we're still kind of arcing in some moisture coming in from the south, so that will be something that will bring us a better chance for rain tomorrow. But you can see how the brighter cloud tops, we've unfortunately had many storms to talk about this phenomenon. This is a developing storm, and the Hurricane Hunter aircraft is likely to find a hurricane here very soon. Moving toward the north and west, Cat 1, possibly Cat 2 before making landfall in Cuba, and then arcing out here across the open open Gulf of Mexico away from Florida. But we have a few passing showers so far today, a little bit more tonight, and notice a little bit of thunder down in South Florida. So I think we'll see a better chance for a couple of thunderstorms here tomorrow. Tomorrow, the best chance for rain really for the next few days. Martha.
All right, Tom, thanks so much. Well, some of your votes are already being counted right now at the Orange County Supervisor of Elections office.
And that's where Channel 9's Melanie Holt joins us live near the tabulation room. Mel, those mail-in ballots are still coming in.
They are. We're expecting to see some more of those ballots come in from the U.S. Post Office with a law enforcement escort shortly. But we're here in the warehouse. This is near the tabulation room. Here you can see boxes of ballots. These are empty. They have already been brought in to be tabulated or have been tabulated at this point. Nothing in here right now. And any issues that are seen as those votes go through that tabulation room will be kicked over to the canvassing board.
One of the things I implemented this year in this cycle is the ballot track software, where it allows voters to get a sense of comfort. So if you get your vote by mail, it allows you to know when the ballot mailed to you, when we receive it, and when we process it. And again, God forbid you forgot to sign it, right? Then what will happen is you will get a text message, an email, and a phone call from us letting you know, hey, you have to come in and cure your ballot before the deadline to make sure your voice is heard in this important election.
And that deadline is Thursday evening. At 6:30, though, right here at the Orange County Supervisor of Elections, the canvassing board will resume its activities. And we'll be there to take a look at what they're seeing in some of those ballots where they have to decide what the voters' intent really was. We're live here in Orange County. Melanie Holt, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, Mel, thank you. And outside of Orange County, residents across Central Florida are still making their way to the nearest ballot box to cast their vote.
Yeah, 50 minutes and counting. Channel 9's Giovanni Diaz live at the Sanford Civic Center in Sanford. Gio, what are you seeing out there right now? Looks like people are still rolling in.
Yeah, Greg, they are. Let me tell you, things are really going smoothly. I just spoke with one voter here. She told me she took about 5 minutes to just go in and out and cast her ballot. She did tell me she had a cheat sheet to help her to go through the process, and that really helped her just get it done faster. Now, if you look here behind me, there's no lines in Seminole County here at this location right now, which is really good to see. Now, we have seen a consistent flow of people here just over the past hour. Here in Seminole County, more than 70% of registered voters have already cast their ballots. Most of them have voted early, just about 136,000 people. That's about 54% of all registered voters here in Seminole County. That's all according to the Supervisor of Elections. We just spoke with him just about an hour ago, and he told us he is really happy to see this turnout, especially from early voting.
That's always a great idea because it's done. It's out of the way. There's no mad dash to the assigned precinct to vote. You got it done in a convenient location close to you, wherever you were. So it's always good to get those votes in early just to get it taken care of. Very happy about it.
So I am seeing right now a couple of folks going in right now at this location here, the Sanford Civic Center. If you were in the line before 7 p.m., you can still cast your ballot. So we still have a few minutes to make our way to the polls. Now, the Supervisor of Elections also told me that Seminole County is expecting to have constant updates on the election results throughout the evening. For now, reporting live in Sanford, I'm Giovanni Diaz, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, Gio, thank you. Seminole County is one of those counties I'm really going to watch tonight because it's been purple before. We'll see if it goes red, blue, or purple, and those results will start to pop and percolate here pretty shortly. Our team coverage continues as we examine the race for Senate here in Florida.
Yeah, still ahead. We're going to take you live to where both candidates are waiting for the ballots to start flowing in.
And Martha, we're live in Southwest Florida with Senator Rick Scott's campaign, where the festivities are just now getting underway. Coming up, we'll take a look at the major issues he says he'll tackle if he wins re-election.
And here in Miami, the setup is underway for Debbie Mucarsel-Powell's campaign watch party. You can see the final touches happening right now. Coming up, we'll tell you about her final push to get voters out on Election Day.
Sky Witness 9 on Channel 9 Eyewitness News, bringing you closer to the scene during live breaking news. Sponsored by Attorney Dan Newland.